welcome to Arabella's Reading Corner. I'm Arabella, and today we will be reading Lyle at Christmas. Christmas was in the air. It was everywhere, and everywhere he went, Lyle the crocodile wished a Merry Christmas. Children gave him big hugs. So did Millie, the crossing guard. "That's my special Christmas hug," she told him. Taxi drivers waved cheerily to him, as did the newsstand owner and the pizza man. Everyone loved Lyle the crocodile, and in return, Lyle loved the whole wide world. He loved Bird, "Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas," and Loretta the cat, who lived 2 houses away with Mr. Grumps. He loved East 88th Street, and the house he shared so happily with Mr. and Mrs. Prim, their children, Joshua and Miranda, his mother, and Bert. His only problem was deciding what gift he wanted most. But if Lyle was happy at Christmas, there was someone living close by who was not at all happy. That someone was feeling downright miserable, in fact, and that someone was Mr. Grumps. "I am having the blahs," moaned Mr. Grumps. "These low-down pit-bottom yeshy holiday blahs. 'Tis the season to be jolly, right? Well, let me tell you about it. Oh, I've tried so hard to get into the spirit of it all," Mr. Grumps groaned. "I trimmed the tree, wrapped gifts, hummed a carol or two, wished for snow, roasted chestnuts on an open fire, did all of that, and still I am having the blahs." Even his adored cat, Loretta, who mostly enjoyed a sunny disposition, had it up to her whiskers with down in the dumps Mr. Grumps, and took to moping about. In her darkest moments, she considered running away. Everyone desperately tried to cheer Mr. Grumps. Lyle exhausted his entire repertoire of surefire, amusing tricks. Nothing. Joshua and Miranda baked a huge batch of happy-faced cookies for him, accompanied by a note that read, "Have a nice day." But Mr. Grumps was in no mood for happy faces, nor was he about to have a nice day. Miss Prim thought a game or 2 of checkers would divert him, but she soon discovered that Mr. Grumps was a mighty sore loser. Lyle's mother, Nurse Felicity, checked Mr. Grumps' pulse and asked him to stick out his tongue. No problem with his health, she concluded. Mr. Prim tried telling him uproarious jokes. "Heard it," Mr. Grumps said, cutting him short. "Heard that one too." It soon became painfully clear, at least for the moment, that no amount of cheering would lift Mr. Grumps out of his sorry holiday blahs. "We'll just do all that we can to let Mr. Grumps know, no matter what, that we do care about him and love him," said Miss Prim. One day, a terribly distraught Mr. Grumps appeared at the Prim's door. "Loretta! Loretta! Oh, my poor, sweet Loretta!" he cried. "What's happened to Loretta?" Miss Prim exclaimed. "She's gone, vanished. slipped out as I signed for a package. Loretta is lost, Mr. Grumps wept. Oh no, everyone cried out. Loretta lost? Lyle was thunderstruck. Loretta, Mr. Grumps sobbed away. Immediately, the family spread out in search of Loretta. Miss Prim circled the neighborhood in her car. Joshua and Miranda questioned people on the street. Mr. Prim and Lyle looked everywhere late into the night. No Loretta. No one slept that night. Lyle kept a constant vigil at the window, anxiously searching the street below for signs of Loretta. Chilling visions of Loretta wandering alone or caught up in all manner of dangerous scrapes haunted him. Suddenly, Lyle knew all too clearly what he wanted most for Christmas, but much sooner, please. I want the safe return of Loretta, he whispered to himself. The next day, the family was posting notices everywhere about Loretta and handing out flyers. Mr. Grumps offered a handsome reward, and many strays were brought to his door. No, that's not Loretta. Sorry, not that one either. Nor that one, he said sadly, turning one after another away. But do, please, try to find good homes for these cats, he always urged them. At long last, Mr. Grumps had something meaningful to be unhappy about. Where, oh, where is she? He cried out again and again. So, where indeed was Loretta? Well, after spending a shivery, terrifying night far away from East 88th Street, she was, at this exact moment, having serious second thoughts about running away. True, she had her fill of grumpy Mr. Grumps, but now she began to miss him desperately, flaws and all. And she missed her friends, but mostly Lyle. The world away from home was a lonely place, she sadly decided, especially at Christmas. What have we here? Loretta soon found herself staring up at the grinning face of Prunella Kit, known in the neighborhood as the Cat Lady. And oh, so pretty, Prunella chortled. All alone, are you? No home? Oh, you poor shriveled darling. Well, not to worry. Prunella is here, and Prunella will take good care of you. Prunella scooped Loretta up, put her in a basket, and scurried home. With quick steps, Prunella climbed the rickety stairs to her third-floor home. At the landing, she met an upstairs neighbor, and that neighbor was none other than Hector P. Valenti, star of stage and screen. Looky look, will you? Said Prunella, proudly lifting the lid of her basket. Not another cat, Prunella. Hector rolled his eyes. Yes, and isn't she a precious little lambkin? Prunella cooed in a baby voice. Adorable. Hector shook his head in disbelief as he rushed off to work. Prunella entered her apartment and immediately set Loretta free. "Welcome home, my darling," she said. Loretta blinked in amazement. It was instantly clear that Prunella had never met a cat she didn't like. Her place swarmed with cats. Cats here, cats there, cats galore everywhere. And some weren't at all nice. Now, more than ever, Loretta longed to be home. Meanwhile, the search for Loretta went on. Posting still another notice, Lyle and Miss Prim suddenly heard a familiar voice call to them from inside a house. They soon discovered the voice belonged to Lyle's former dance partner, Hector P. Valenti, star of stage and screen. The old friends were delighted to see one another. But what was Hector up to now? Well, at the moment, it seemed, he was very busy cleaning windows. "Oh, do you live here?" asked Miss Prim. Hector came to the door. "Actually, I work here," he answered. "I perform star-quality house cleaning services. It's an interesting little side venture, between stage and screen engagements, of course." "Yes, of course," said Miss Prim. Lyle immediately gave Hector a flyer about Loretta. Hector read it with great interest, especially the part about the reward. He looked carefully at Loretta's picture. Suddenly, bells went off in his head. "I can find Loretta," he announced. Lyle and Miss Prim were overjoyed. "Oh, please, let's get her at once," said Miss Prim. "Not so fast," said Hector. "The people I work for will want a clean house when they return." "Oh, but we must find Loretta," Miss Prim pleaded. Hector had an idea. "Come in, please," he said. Hector took off his apron and put it on Lyle. "I'm sure you'll know what to do, Lyle," said Hector. "I don't think Lyle should be doing this," said Miss Prim. But Lyle's cheerful smile encouraged Miss Prim to leave with Hector. "Goodbye, dear," said Miss Prim. We won't be long, I'm sure." "See you later," said Hector. "And do, please, remember to dust under the beds." Lyle was so delighted at the prospect of finding Loretta, he got to work at once. He scrubbed the dishes thoroughly in hot, sudsy water and admired his reflection in their gleaming brightness. After polishing the silverware, Lyle went on to make the beds. As always, he was proud of his hospital corners and pictured how pleased the homeowners would be when they returned. After that, there was the usual scrubbing, dusting, sweeping, and waxing. To lighten his house cleaning chores, Lyle decided to have fun with floor waxing by pretending to do a television commercial. "See my shiny waxed floor," he made believe he was saying. "Isn't it beautiful? Isn't it gorgeous? Want to know my secret? Dazzle. That's right, folks. Dazzle floor wax. So if you want your floor to sparkle like mine, rush out this very instant, if not sooner, to get yourself some Dazzle. And do get the giant economy size. Take it from Lyle. You won't be sorry. Oh, and by the way, friends, remember our slogan, Dazzle Dazzles." Lyle was so pleased with his commercial, he began to dance. Oops! The waxed floor was slippery, and he fell kerplunk at the feet of Mr. and Miss Worthmore, the owners of the house who had just come home. They were not amused. In fact, they were so astonished to find a crocodile prancing about the house, Miss Worthmore promptly fainted, as Miss Worthmore managed somehow to call the police. The police arrived and arrested Lyle. He was charged with breaking in. News of his arrest was broadcast far and wide. Later in court, the judge was about to have Lyle locked up when Miss Prim, Hector, and Prunella burst in with Loretta. Lyle's eyes lit up the instant he saw Loretta. "Please, Your Honor," Miss Prim pleaded. "Lyle is innocent. He was merely helping to clean so Hector would be free to find Loretta." "Is this true?" asked the judge. "Yes, Your Honor," said Hector. "And where exactly was Loretta?" asked the judge. "Safe and sound in my home," Prunella spoke up proudly. When they heard this, Mr. and Miss Worthmore, who were also in court, immediately dropped the charges. They even commended Lyle for doing an outstanding job cleaning their house. "Best we ever had," said Miss Worthmore, looking scornfully at Hector. "Case dismissed," said the judge. On Christmas Eve, Mr. Grumps gave a dinner party. Everyone was invited. The Prims, Lyle and his mother, Hector, Prunella, and even Mr. and Miss Worthmore. Besides sharing their reward for finding Loretta, Hector and Prunella seemed also to share a blossoming fondness for each other. "We will need to find good homes for your cats, Prunella," said Hector. "We'll be on the road so much, you know." "Oh, of course, Hector dear," Prunella said adoringly. Mr. Grumps and Loretta were blissfully reunited. "Friends, this is a most joyous, meaningful night," said Mr. Grumps. "And so I say to one and all, Merry, Merry Christmas, and goodbye forever to the Blahs." Everyone smiled. ... Especially Lyle and Loretta. I hope you enjoyed this book.